The story of Björn Borg is often told through the lens of his dazzling tennis career. The Wimbledon crowns, the French Open triumphs, and the aura of cool detachment that earned him the nickname Iceman. Yet as he reaches 69, the tragic dimensions of his life, so often hidden behind trophies, headlines, and the calm exterior fans adored, paint a far more heartbreaking picture of a man who struggled with personal demons that even unparalleled athletic success could not erase. Borg's rise to global stardom was meteoric. Born in 1956 in Stockholm, Sweden, he emerged from a modest upbringing with a relentless drive to succeed on the tennis court. His childhood was disciplined and structured, with his father, Leo Borg, imposing strict routines and rigorous training schedules. While many young athletes chafed under such regimentation, Borg internalized it, developing an almost unnatural focus and resilience that would become his trademark. Yet that very structure, which propelled him to greatness, also sowed the seeds of an internal struggle, a tension between public perfection and private turmoil. By the mid-1970s, Borg was not just a champion. He was a global phenomenon. His victories at Wimbledon, including the unprecedented streak of 5 consecutive titles from 1976 to 1980, made him the sport's most dominant figure. His rivalry with John McEnroe became the stuff of legend, their contrasting temperaments, Borg's icy composure versus McEnroe's fiery volatility, captivating audiences worldwide. Yet behind the serene, unshakable exterior that fans saw was a man increasingly burdened by the pressure to maintain perfection. The intense media scrutiny, the constant expectations to win, and the demand for stoicism began to weigh heavily on him, creating cracks in the persona that the world had come to worship. Off the court, Borg's life was far less controlled than his public image suggested. The pressures of fame and the isolation inherent in professional tennis fueled a series of personal crises. Relationships faltered, friendships strained, and the solitude that accompanied his competitive drive often gave way to loneliness. For a man who had been conditioned from childhood to suppress vulnerability in favor of discipline, expressing emotional pain was both unfamiliar and deeply challenging. The early 1980s, after his sudden retirement at the age of 26, marked a turning point. The world expected Borg to seamlessly transition from athlete to celebrity, yet he struggled to find identity and purpose beyond the tennis court. The very qualities that made him unbeatable on grass and clay, focus, discipline, and emotional restraint, now contributed to a profound sense of dislocation and inner conflict. Borg's post-tennis life was marked by both reinvention and disappointment. He attempted various business ventures, including fashion and sports-related projects, some of which found moderate success, while others faltered spectacularly. The pressures of managing his financial affairs and navigating new roles outside of the familiar structures of professional sport became a source of stress and anxiety. Moreover, the public's continued fascination with his persona often clashed with his desire for privacy. Media scrutiny, which once celebrated his victories, now magnified his struggles, creating a cycle of pressure and expectation that left him feeling increasingly vulnerable and exposed. Adding to the complexity of his personal life were health and psychological challenges that emerged over time. Borg's intense dedication to physical perfection during his career contributed to a body and mind conditioned for relentless performance, but ill-prepared for the mental and emotional fallout of early retirement and personal upheaval. Reports of anxiety, bouts of depression, and a persistent struggle to reconcile public admiration with private dissatisfaction paint a picture of a man continually wrestling with his own limitations. While the world celebrated his composure, inside, Borg was navigating a terrain of uncertainty and loss that few could see or understand. Despite the struggles, Borg retained an undeniable charisma and an enduring connection to tennis, coaching and mentoring younger players, and occasionally participating in exhibition matches. Yet even these endeavors could not fully bridge the gap between the life he had mastered on court and the personal fulfillment he sought off it. The tragedy of his life is not a dramatic fall from grace. It is the quieter, more insidious pain of a man who achieved unprecedented success, but remained haunted by the very pressures that success created. He lived in a constant negotiation between public perfection and private vulnerability, a tension that defined both his greatest triumphs and his deepest sorrows. Now, at 69, reflection on Borg's life reveals a deeply human story behind the myth. His accomplishments remain extraordinary, his influence on the sport immeasurable, yet the heartbreak of his journey underscores the cost of early fame, extreme discipline, and the relentless pursuit of perfection. Björn Borg's story reminds us that even legends, those who appear untouchable and invincible, carry burdens unseen by the cheering crowds. It is a story of brilliance and pain, of victory and solitude, and of a man who, for all his triumphs, never entirely escaped the demons that shaped him. In the end, Borg's life is a testament to the complex, often hidden realities behind public achievement, a reminder that the human heart and mind are far less predictable, far more fragile, and far more profound than any scoreboard could ever capture.